Department of Homeland Security has now landed in Minneapolis thanks to a YouTuber, Nick Shirley, and his exposing of the just unbelievable, off the charts fraud happening in daycare centers and healthcare, which are completely fictitious. They may have a physical address, no kids, no patients, no nothing, but millions upon millions of taxpayer dollars, federal taxpayer dollars, flooding into those entities, and unbelievable fraud in the state of Minnesota. And again, it's all thanks to a YouTuber named Nick Shirley.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Hey, I'm Pastor Marty, and this is the Afternoon Drive. Please make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That'll give you a notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless, perfect reasonings. Hey, please like and share this video. That's the way that we get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a part of the Afternoon Drive, where I promise you, what you hear here, you may not hear anywhere else. You were warned.
Warning: psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised.
Have you noticed how Democrats love to constantly say that Republicans don't care about people, don't care about poor people, and that Democrats are constantly proposing all of these initiatives and policies and agencies of various new forms of welfare? We've got to help poor people buy houses, so we establish HUD, the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. We need health care that's really cheap and free for poor people. We need free daycare for illegal migrants, etc., etc., etc. And they do all this, and many times rhinos and wimpy Republicans are bullied into voting for it because they don't want to be called racist. They don't want to be called, that they just don't have a heart for people, and they just want to see women and children and old people starve. So they vote for all this because they get bullied into it. But the honest truth is, the Democrats don't really love these people either, because they create these programs not for the people they're intended for. They create it as a way to grift and money launder and get the money that's been allocated by the federal government, hundreds of millions into billions of dollars, back to themselves and their candidate pals. That's what this whole thing is about. And Patrick Bet-David and his team absolutely have exposed this for what it is.
Pat, what we are seeing in Minnesota is the biggest campaign finance scam in history. They are laundering money through public assistance programs into the Somali community. The Somali community sends it to Somali. Al-Shabaab gets some of it, and then some of it comes back to Tim Walz's campaign. They've got him by the throat. If he speaks about this, they're going to show that money came back offshore from the campaign to it. I am convinced of this. This is my opinion. This is my deduction. This is what I believe. So I believe that they have checkmated it. And now we're seeing dollars from Minnesota going to Somali candidates in Washington. And why don't the networks talk about it? Who collects all the campaign donations? Campaigns, remember when they say that if you give $1 billion in relief fund to middle class Pat, it runs right to the EBITDA line of Wall Street, right? Because people are going to take it and just buy whatever they want. So, you put $1 trillion in the economy as Biden did, the money's going to end up on Wall Street and the profit lines of Amazon and every company of people buy things. Bingo. Well, guess what? All of the money that comes into campaign finance goes to the network TV. And the networks are being told, stay off this. Because I believe the networks are being told plain, pure, and simple, stay off this story. because what it's going to do, I believe that all this public assistance money goes offshore, comes back to the campaigns. It's money laundering. And I believe it's the biggest campaign finance story in history. And now the networks are sitting there at gunpoint because they need that money every 2 years because the elections are hugely profitable for network television.
Very interesting.
Now, one of the daycare centers that was in the video, which has gone absolutely viral, almost 200 million views now from Nick Shirley, was a daycare center called the Learing Center. They forgot the N in learning. The Learing Center. I don't know about you. I'm a parent. Would you place your child in a preschool that wasn't even smart enough to spell its own name correctly on the sign? That said, the owner or operator or manager of said school has now come forward and said, this is fraud. It was done in a way to make he and the other Somali daycares look bad.
One childcare business that's now under the microscope is Quality Learning Center in Minneapolis, which misspelled learning on its sign. They say they're fixing the spelling.
A lot of the journalism that's been going on the last couple of days has been really dishonest. I don't want to point fingers at anybody, but I do feel like what was done was someone came to our building outside of operating hours. When there's a specific sign on our door that says our days and our hours, he came outside of those hours and then claimed, hey, they're closed and they're still making money. They're using taxpayer money to work. And it's like, you don't come outside of operational hours and then say they're using taxpayer money. That was completely false.
Sell crazy someplace else. We're all stocked up here.
There's never any kids there. Their operating hours are from 2 in the afternoon until 10 at night. What daycare center opens at 2 p.m.? There are no moms that need morning daycare so they can go to work. And then even neighbors reported that for one day, while the cameras were rolling, and so that the liberal press and media in Minneapolis could report that, yeah, we saw the Learing Center open and with kids. Really what happened was, all of a sudden, they opened up for one day, busloads of kids showed up, and an hour later, they left. So the Somali community, because they're all siphoning off of this grift, has rallied. And now what are they going to do? I guarantee you, if you ran cameras at all those locations, you are going to see the same 50 kids at every location making an appearance so that they could say, yes, we have kids. The audacity on the Somali people is unbelievable. They come here running for their lives, supposedly, and most of them got here through church-oriented programs. The church brought them here, and I'm sure got compensated for doing so. They brought them here, and then do they come here and want to assimilate and become American? Buy into the American ideals and way of life? No, they want to grift off our system, take our money, ship it back to warlords, drug lords, and terrorists, use some of it to ingratiate themselves and to pay back the Democratic politicians that wink, wink, and look the other way, and then put on hijabs and come out and feign their love and support for Somalia because they made America great. Really? Ilhan Omar married her brother. And her husband starts a hedge fund that goes from literally a few $1,000s to $30 million in a year. These people need to all be stripped of any citizenship that they've been given, and they need to get out of here and never come back. But hey, don't take my word for it. Let's take a little stroll down yesterday's memory lane and relive Nick Shirley's visit to the Learing Center.
Go away!
What do you think about that? Are you in favor?
Away.
Are you in favor of that?
Go away! You're not welcome here. Shame on you! Are you in favor of $1.9 million going illegally, fraudulently to this business that has quality learning center but can't even spell learning right on the door?
Don't open up!
Ma'am, we are not ICE.
I don't care who you are, you don't belong here.
A report that came out today from HUD, the Department of Housing and Urban Development, finds out that taxpayer funds have been given to questionable rental assistance recipients. 30,000 deceased tenants, many of whom live in New York, California, and that's something. Who would have thought? A large concentration even went to Washington, D.C., and deceased recipients in all 50 states. Now, where does that money go? What gets done with it? Just like USAID, these are ways Democrats have slush funds for themselves, their campaigns, and to be able to fund the propaganda that gets rammed down our throats on every social media platform, television, and movie, that we're the ones out of step and we've got to get with the woke program. This whole Somali daycare healthcare debacle has absolutely ripped down the curtains, and we now see it for what it is.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain.
Oh, too late. Everybody is paying attention now. And Tim Walz, if you were a smart man, you'd resign now.
I'm not a smart man.
Trust me, we know. For those of you that might be wondering, is this guy really a pastor? Why don't you come pay us a visit the next time you're in Macon, Georgia? I'd love to see you. I'll save you a seat.